Hello and welcome to episode 90 of my Working with Todoist series. In this episode, as we are drawing to the end of the year, what I wanted to do was to go through how I am using Evernote now and allow you the opportunity by linking in the comment section below the video I did with Francesco D'Alesso last year on how I was using Todoist last year. So this year has seen a number of changes in the way that I use Todoist, and essentially this came about because I wanted to create to enable Todoist to become my base, if you like, the center of my productivity. And in order to do that, I brought quite a few items out of Evernote and put them into Todoist because I found that on a daily basis, Todoist was something that I was looking at least 3 or 4 times a day. And particularly at the end of the day when I was doing my daily mini review, it just felt a little bit more logical to have everything in one place instead of me having to look at 2 or 3 different applications to see what was going on in my life. But anyway, let me just go through how I'm using Todoist today. And I'm sure next year it will change and update a little bit more as I go through the year. But there have been some significant changes. But some things that have not changed. First of all is the way I use my Tickler File. And for those of you who followed this series, you know that my Tickler File is for things that I want to be reminded of, but are not necessarily tasks in themselves. So I have on here to download the elementary drama every Thursday. That actually could be a routine, but it's going to end when the season finishes, so that's just a little reminder to download it on a Thursday. My Tickler File to check above and beyond tour dates every month. I check that at the end of every month. I'm currently testing a system with a new pair of jeans I bought 3 months ago, which are what's called raw denim. So those of you guys who are into jeans, you understand that raw denim should not be washed for 6 months. And so I have a Tickler File to tell me the date that these should be washed. Don't worry, they're not smelly, they're not weird or anything like that. I am very careful when I wear those jeans. And this is to test full features of Apple Music because I have 2 Apple Music accounts, one for my UK account and now one for my Korean account. And there's been a little bit of some kind of Apple thing that doesn't allow me to have the full features for 90 days. But that's just a reminder for I can start using the full features of Apple Music Korea from the 20th of January. My routines folders have not changed at all. I'll just open it up here. I'm still using daily, weekly and monthly. But the one thing that has come out of there was my weekly review because I've moved that somewhere else. But my daily routines still work in the same way. My weekly routines and so on. But one thing that has changed in my routines is in the way I do my labels now. I actually have a dedicated label for routines, which is down here. And the reason for that is because when I use filters, I can actually filter out routines much more easily so I can focus on work that takes my life further forward rather than the daily mundane work that I have to do. Next, again, has not changed at all, which is my work folder. I have 4 projects in there. Business creativity has pretty much come to an end. There's just some tidying up little bits to do. I have to do the lecture course plan for next year, which I'm still working on. I'm working on an online productivity course, which you'll hear more about at the end of January. And of course, for those of you who have been following this series, you know I'm still working on my Todoist book, which is coming to an end. I expect to get that published by the end of January. So a lot of these projects are actually coming to an end now, which is really nice. My home project, I don't have any personal projects on at the moment because there's a lot of work-related projects. So I just have my single actions. For those of you guys who are wondering what do I use my single actions for, these are basically just things that are not projects in themselves, but do need tidying up at some point. So this one, sort out Apple Music on Mathis. Mathis is the name of my desktop computer, and I noticed in the Apple Music folder that I seem to have got a lot of duplicated playlists, so they need to get sorted out. So when I have a few moments over this Christmas holiday period, I'll be able to go through that in the evening and just clean that up a little bit. So nothing too much in there. Now, coming to the two new folders that I've created, areas of focus and checklists. One of the things that I actually discovered was that my areas of that I had a few areas of focus that I was treating as projects, and I thought this was a bit silly. My student affairs is divided into two because I have a lot of rescheduling to do. So here's a couple that I would actually have to reschedule. But my areas of focus essentially is just for things that I just need to keep an eye on. They're not essentially big projects or specific projects with an end date, but they're things that I really just want to keep a track of what's going on. So I've got my students affairs, my company stuff, FES stuff, this YouTube channel, my Medium blog, social media, my personal website, just anything that I might want to add or change to that can be just dropped in there. Of course, for those of you who followed this series, they also know I have an unhealthy obsession with shoes, and in here I've got one to do today actually, which is to clean my brown Crockett and Jones shoes, and then my exercise, which is again it's just mainly reviewing. But just things that I want to keep a track of on there. So that's a new folder, and it's just for things that parts of my life that are ongoing projects, things that don't have a specific end date, and things that I just want to keep an eye on. They're all in my areas of focus. Checklist is something I've pulled out of Evernote and brought into Todoist, simply because I want to be able to keep this for when I do my daily reviews. Of course, I got my weekly review in there, and now I have a full checklist in Evernote, which I have. If I click on that, it brings up the Evernote checklist that I can actually just check, go through my my weekly review. This is Operation Style, which I have a purchase list that I want to buy clothes for, which for some reason I've put into my weekly review because it is a weekly review. Maintenance, it's just to review systems, or maintenance could be even around the house, things that need doing. Books to buy, this is all the books that I've come across that I would like to buy. Videos to watch, these are generally YouTube videos that I've found that I don't have specific time for, but I would like to watch and see how that, at some future date, but there's no big rush. And what I've done is, as I've done like Carl Cox Space is the Place, this is a video that's on a resident advisor. This is like a little documentary about Carl Cox, who's one of my favorite all-time DJs, and his 15 years at Space Ibiza, which closed down this year. But as you can see, I've saved that as a link because it actually just makes finding that video easier. So most of these are links. If not, I think I've got the link. Yeah, I've got the link in the notes section if it's not actually in the thing. Courses to take. This is just course. Again, all these are linked, so I can go straight to them and have a look at these courses. And another one which is music to listen to. I've got one again, Carl Cox's Last Set at Space Ibiza, and a BBC Radio 4 season that I've got there. And finally, my Someday Maybe. That is something that was here last year and will always be with me. These are projects that I don't have time for now, or are due to start now, or even in the next year. But projects that I may want to do at some time in the future, hence Someday Maybe. Other changes that have come along this year was essentially my next actions list, and I actually did a video on this because I find this is really useful for getting rid of those tasks that just stick around and never seem to go away. So I put them in my next actions list, and then when I do either my daily mini review or my weekly review, I can just go through this list and just add a date to it, and bang, I can get that particular task done. This is really good. Remember, for those of you who watched the video on this, I keep this to less than 10 tasks. If it gets beyond 10, it becomes a crazy place, and it just something I wouldn't look at. So this is kept to a minimum of 10. Waiting for, again, I've got nothing waiting for at the moment. social media and various things. But again, most of this hasn't really changed since last year. Essentially, my project setup is the main place that I've actually changed over the year, and that's been the big one. Finally, the one thing that has changed is I always found I was having a problem when I was processing at the end of the day, because Inbox and Today View was not actually showing. And although you have a number, when you're in the middle of the end of a day, you're very tired. You don't want to go through this. So what I did was, and this I got, the idea I got from this is such a simple idea, and I've completely forgotten that Todoist actually allows you to do this, is if you click on here, you can actually create a home, I suppose a dashboard view. You can create anything you like. So what I've done is my computer is now set up, my Todoist is now set up that whenever I open this on the web or on my computer, it doesn't work on your mobile phone, the home page or the home window, if you like, is what I've customized it to be. So I've customized it to be to show my inbox, today, and things that I'm waiting for. And the way I've set this up is I want to be able to see my inbox tasks at the end of the day at the top. Now, I'm recording this in the middle of the afternoon. I've still got a lot of tasks to do. But normally at the end of the evening, I've only got maybe 2 or 3 of these tasks to do. So I can see in one window also my waiting for tasks as well, or things that I'm waiting for. So this actually shows up really nicely in one window. Now, for those of you who are curious about this, to do this, if you go into settings and Todoist settings, you can create your, I've forgotten, what do they call it? They call it your start page. So the start page here. And my start page is P inbox. P stands for project, comma, overdue, comma, today, comma, and then at waiting for. And that means it's the label at waiting for. So all I have to do is add the at waiting for. So this is my start page, and you can have the standard one, or you can have you can create anything that you want from this particular list, or you can create a custom query as I've done. Okay, so hopefully that gives you a quick rundown of how my Todoist, or how I'm using Todoist, has changed over this year. I find this is much better because I have more. As I say, the goal was to create a base, if you like, or a central place for the whole of my productivity. And as Todoist is the cornerstone, it's the central key part of my productivity on a day-to-day basis. This is where I actually run my work life from. Okay, hopefully you found that useful, and I hope you're all enjoying this Christmas week and getting enough rest ready for 2017. If you have any questions at all about my system, please feel free to leave a comment in the comment section below, and I'll be more than happy to answer those questions for you. Okay, so have a very, very productive week and a very, very happy new year to all of you, and I'll see you in the next episode and in next year.